Hello everyone. This is the fifth episode in the Age of Pandemic series. I am so grateful to all of you for watching this series and sharing your feedback. Thank you very much. Keep watching, and in case you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, please click on the bell icon so that you're notified of a new video every Saturday. Today, let's consider ourselves in a post-COVID-19 world. It has now been 133 days since the coronavirus exploded in Wuhan, a city in China. As I speak, more than 4,460,000 people all over the world have been affected by COVID-19, and of these, close to 300,000 have died. As a global scale pandemic, this is certainly the biggest ever. Our political bosses are already calling it the war against coronavirus. But this week, I want to turn inwards. What has this done to us as a civilization? Has the virus finished off the humanity, the mention in us? Or are we emerging as better human beings, more responsible, with greater social solidarity and empathy? I recall there was a scene from the movie Schindler's List, considered one of the greatest cinematic works ever. In this particular scene, Oskar Schindler, the protagonist, reflects on what war does to human beings.
The war, which brings out the worst in people. Never the good, always the bad. Always the bad.
We are familiar with wars between human groups, but a war against a microbe? Some of the coldest and harshest realities of war are presently sweeping humanity. It is a war in the most loosely worded sense, because war is waged by humans on each other using all manner of terrible weapons. This war is against a microbe, and yet all governments, irrespective of size and strength, are marshalling human and material resources on a scale that matches conflict situations in the past. Why? Because this terrible, microscopic, common enemy of all mankind is set to destroy lives, cultures, economies, every single human institution built patiently over generations. I'd like to begin this week's episode with an observation made by the Honorable President of Germany, which I think is as incisive as it is revealing. He statesmanishly says what is evolving in the minds of many people.
No, this pandemic is not a war. Nations do not stand against other nations, soldiers against soldiers. Rather, this is a test of our humanity. It is bringing out both the best and the worst in people.
Let us show each other the best in us, he said. I hope the world is listening.
आइए अंकल प्लीज आइए केक कटिंग करो कैप लगा के
कोई बात ना अंकल जी कोई बात नहीं
Thank you, you made my day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear uncle.
Happy birthday to you.
We are seeing how ordinary people are devoting their time and energy in being affectionate and considerate towards their neighbors, and not only their neighbors but even unknown fellow citizens. These are just 3 cases, but they constitute a trend that has swept humankind since the beginning of this so-called war. I've left links to some of these stories in the description box below so you can read them. And now, in another part of the world, this news report is about a French brotherhood called the Charitables. This collective of men are going around France digging graves and conducting rituals to ensure that people who die of coronavirus infection are given respectful Christian farewells. Their actions are inspired by a tradition which began in the year 1188, when one of the plague pandemics before the Black Death killed so many people in France that gravediggers, priests and undertakers could not cope with the demand. Besides, the victims of the plague were feared more in death than while living. There are records that whenever a victim of the plague was brought into the cemetery, the gravediggers just fled. So this brotherhood was formed, and it worked quietly and honorably through centuries. And now, after almost 1,000 years, its services were called upon again, and they rose to the occasion. Contrast the French story with this one from Bhopal in India. According to this news report, a Hindu woman had died a lonely death in a government hospital during the lockdown period. Her relatives could not come to take her body away. So, her Muslim neighbors did their duty as human beings. They carried her body Hindu style to the cremation grounds and stood around respectfully as the body was consigned to the flames. Mind you, this happened in India, where incidents of Islamophobia are still happening with sickening regularity. Even the deadly pandemic did not deter the hate mongers. People all over the world are continuously showing gratitude to the medical community for treating the victims of coronavirus as bravely and unselfishly as they have. The scenes of people clapping together have become iconic. The skeptical among us might argue that they were just doing their jobs. But in recent months, we are seeing doctors, nurses, and even mortuary assistants respond to the deepest humanitarian stirrings. This news report is about Tanisha Brunson Malone, a technician at a mortuary in New Jersey in the United States. Tanisha spends hundreds of dollars of her hard-earned money every week. She buys flowers for the bodies of coronavirus victims, which arrive all covered up in trailers. Coronavirus victims don't go to their graves with prayers and flowers brought by their near and dear ones, and Tanisha's heart goes out for the loneliness of these dead people. These stories show that humans are not machines, and neither are they heartless. We are probably in the worst and darkest hour in recent human history, and yet there are people among us who are willing to do a little bit extra just because. You see, the fallibility of human power is clear to us now. We dominated nature, changed nature, and destroyed nature. Somewhere down the line, we forgot that we too were part of nature. And now it has taken a microbe to remind us that we are as vulnerable as all the rest of plant and animal life. And so we are unconsciously regenerating the forgotten seeds of temperance and sympathy. We are using various media to try to make our own small contributions in this war against coronavirus. What is surprising is the speed with which the old reality has been banished. Now we are seeing such a flood of emotional reports against poverty, inequality, and racism. This article states, the coronavirus has put a magnifying glass on inequality both within and between countries. Is a social revolution waiting to happen? You may like to read this article. I've linked it in the description box below. It points out that some trends were visible even before Wuhan. Since 2017, there have been 100 large anti-government protests in countries both rich and poor. France has seen an uprising called the Yellow Vest movement. In 2018, there was a major upheaval in Sudan over the continued indifference of the country's dictator to the poverty and hardship of the people. A classical revolution, you might say, but without religion at its core, which is significant. Maybe the revolution has already begun, silently, gently. I'm talking about the growing trend of voluntarism that is visible all over the world. People are connecting over social media, collecting money and supplies, reaching out to help the hapless people who are trapped in lockdowns and are physically and financially unable to survive. This is being recognized as a mutual aid movement. In the description box below, I've provided links to some articles describing various mutual aid drives and donation groups. You can read about them. As this article says, it's been replicating like crazy over the past few weeks, spreading from person to person, city to city, country to country. The coronavirus, yes, but also the mutual aid meant to combat it. Mutual aid was first articulated by Peter Kropotkin, a Russian activist, philosopher and writer. In 1902, he had published an essay titled Mutual Aid as a Factor in Evolution. Incidentally, Kropotkin was born into an aristocratic family and actually dropped his princely title at the age of 12. In his time, Kropotkin was considered an anarchist and a communist. He was even sent to jail. But his thinking was far ahead of his time. He expressed a theory that it's not just human beings who fight among themselves when resources are scarce. To support this theory, he gave examples of species of birds and animals who do the same. On the other hand, he said, there are also examples of creatures who survive through mutual aid.
In its simplest form, mutual aid is a motivation at play anytime two or more people work together to solve a problem for the shared benefit of everyone involved. In other words, it means cooperation for the sake of the common good. Understood in this way, mutual aid is obviously not a new idea.
People are taking to mutual aid without even realizing that they are part of a global tide of Good Samaritanism, philanthropy, or perhaps basic disaster relief. In some cases, it begins as pure self-help, community-driven mutual aid, neighborhood groups that coordinate volunteers, as this article shows. In some cases, we also see spontaneous mobilization for animals. Will it be possible to normalize mutual aid in a post-COVID-19 age? Well, I think this question should be asked differently now, because in the post-COVID-19 world, there will always be one form of disaster or the other. The question that we should be asking is, why won't it be possible to normalize mutual aid? We millennials and those who come after us will be the worst victims of this pandemic and the era that will follow. Our futures have been drastically distorted by the coronavirus, and untold sufferings await most of us. And then there's the climate crisis. Let's not forget. Millions of us, maybe hundreds of millions, might be doomed to a life of depression and anxiety, and I can't even imagine the social and economic consequences. The human stories of the coronavirus episode offer hope. They remove some of our fears and agony. If nothing, they prove that we are still Menschen. Thank you for watching. I'll be back next week. In the meantime, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter for daily updates. Stay safe.